Bricks and Minifigs is your one-stop shop for all things LEGO. Hit the link below to find a store near you. Hey everyone, Joshua Hanlon here at Bricks Cascade in Portland, Oregon, and I am back in the middle of the Great Ball Contraption. This is a really special year for Great Ball Contraption here at Bricks Cascade because this is actually, I believe, the first year with a complete loop here at Bricks Cascade. So I've got one of the builders and organizers with me. If you want to introduce yourself and tell us about what's been going on here.
Absolutely, thank you very much. Yep, I'm Neil Snowball out of Canada. Glad to be here again, hosted by Rick Vogt and the Brick Cascades crew. But you're absolutely right, this is a first for us here. We've actually graduated to a loop. Years of the back and forth on the tables, we've graduated to a loop, and the loop was actually bigger than originally planned at the start when we set up on Thursday. So we are super pleased to be running 60 plus modules with 16 different builders involved. So it's been a great day. So this first module that we've seen here is our bulldozer, built by a local builder, Arcturus. It's running on the Technic brick and through the Brick Controller app, and we've got a couple of the guests here running it on a PlayStation controller, clearing up the balls for us. So that's running into a whole section of builds from a number of new people to the group here. So we've got some from Melissa, and then this one here with the Mario Warp Tunnel. This is our youngest builder, Jesse. He is only 12 years old, and so this is his first foray into GBC, and we're glad he's been able to do that by capitalizing on these Brickwell ball pumps and adding that little bit of Mario flair in there. And then we're rolling over to another ball pump and into the gravel excavator. So this is another new builder, Samuel Childs. So he's new to our group this year, and we're glad to have him. We're always glad to have more and more new blood into the GBC world. Quite an aggressive module here going on with that scoop. It is. It looks like it should be worse than it is. It is a little leaky, but a lot of these really odd mechanisms tend to be. But it's a lot of fun when it throws itself over and back. You'll probably notice as you do the video here that Exoforce wheels are the big thing in our show this year. So we got the first of our 3 Exoforce wheel lifts. And this is, I'm trying to make sure I know who it is. So David Cloud has built this one in the black and red. And then that's feeding into a whole Lyman black layout from Stuart Newman, starting with a worm mill. And the worm mill's running into a nicely colored Brickwell ball pump and feeding into what's known as 4x4, which is a paired set of Exoforce wheels as a lift, down and through a 4x4 and into the next set of wheels as the lift. And that takes us all the way over to our corner, dropping into a nice little reverse drum wheel that's running around, catching things and feeding out to the first of our pusher-upper modules. A lot of people will have seen these before, they're quite popular. So pusher-upper is running into the colored-up Brickwell wheel from 2022. You'll notice a gap. We've been playing around with this gap. There's a few unhappy modules sitting on the table behind us. So this has been a bit of a flex. Then we're into our second worm mill of the day. Running into a set of my modules that I classify as Workshop Wonderland. And these are modules that are from workshops or pending to be workshops in the community in the near future. So we've got a lot of stuff from Brick Slopes, some Bricks by the Bay pusher modules, another Brick Slope stepper. The one running up to that, first time you'll have seen this, is the prototype for this year's Brick Slopes workshop module. So if you come into Brick Slopes, get into the workshop, and one of these could be yours.
Shout out to Salt Lake City there with that show. Happens every year at the end of August. If people aren't familiar with that, check it out.
Absolutely. If you're into GBC, it's a burgeoning and really growing group, so we'd love to grow the GBC much bigger. And then at the end of Workshop Wonderland, we go into my leap of faith This is the one that makes other GBC people a little bit nervous because it's a 3.5-foot tall tower that has no real structure to it, no guy ropes, no nothing, and it moves around in the wind.
Absolute mad lad right there.
Yeah, we go for it, but it hits the target every time. The net is big enough. It might then bounce out, but it's always getting into the target. So running from that into a nice familiar regular module, it's an Emmett's crane by Pinwheel. This one's been to quite a lot of shows and just cranking away. And then into one of my own creations, which is, I call it Slapshot, which is ice hockey themed. Being a Canadian, ice hockey is important to me as a sport. And so I was inspired by the late or early 2000s sports sets to build something with those pieces. And then from that is my old favorite that just sits at the end of almost everything I build and churns out balls. It's the Carrot Patch. And that's feeding into a section by a relatively new builder to the community, Roxanne Baxter. She's been in the community for the last year or so. So she's starting off with Elsa's Castle. This is running a nice little wheel lift on the start of that. And then we're into the Space Commander Stepper, which is a series of shared power interlinked stepper modules themed by different color Lego spacemen. Really nice. It's just clean lines to look at, and we've been enjoying that all weekend so far. Into a nice Serpentine lift, and especially good, the Serpentine's been coupled with a long Aki-Yuki ramp. Again, the flexibility of this ramp has allowed us to be a bit more fluid with solving problems here. And then finally, Roxanne's last module here is a coloured up version of Dune's, I can't remember what the lift is. It's like a gearless, a hubless conveyor. That's it. Thanks, Roxanne. Yep, Dune's hubless conveyor. And so that's now feeding into Kevin Mitchum's setup. So we've got an alternate ball pump, all on shared power. So we've got a ball pump, we've got a little stepper module, a sweeper, and then finishing that section up with a little chain lift. That chain lift feeds over to the side stepper, an old favorite. It's a great module to use, especially for solving corner problems because it's got a long outreach. And then feeding into a nice little old school stepper. This is one of Kevin's where he was looking for a design to get the steps as low as possible. And from that we're into a classic ball pusher. This one must be pushing at least a decade or more in age at this point, but it's still here, it's still running. It does its job. And then we're into a couple of tri-lifts. You'll notice it's earned its Weeby Jamming badge. It's a well-known module for having a few problems. So it's earned its badge well. And then we're into another ball pump and another little stepper. And then finally in Kevin's section is his banana chain lift. And that leads us into a section by John Sherman. A lot of you will know John's work. It's very clean and attractive stuff. So we're starting off with the ball run. So the roller coaster style ball run at full tilt is absolutely mesmerizing. And that ball run, so that's rolling into what John calls Rat Stamper XL, which is a double pick lift.
I love the look of that one. The colors are so nice, and then just the mechanism is great.
Absolutely, and that's sort of indicative of all of John's stuff. It's really well engineered, but also got a particular nice aesthetic to it. So Rat Stamper is feeding into John's ball counter. So this is something he's been developing over the last few years. So taking ideas from Bertild's stuff and other counters that are out there in the community and done his usual tweaks and style to it. So it's really nicely easy to read what the particular ball count is. We're looking to be at about almost 13,000 balls so far. If we're lucky, we'll hit 20,000 by the end of the day, but that'll probably be more like 10:30 tomorrow morning when we come back. And then that feeds out when it triggers. It feeds out to John's macaroni stepper. Again, very brightly colored, very attractive, and nice simple mechanism. So the stepper feeds up and over, and then we're into our archway up and over. That for tall folks like me is an absolute desire for a GBC loop. You know, I don't want to be crouching under tables, and these arches are a really great addition to every loop. And so we're in the final stretch, the arch. The arch feeds over to Alex Popeil's Glittering Wheel, another classic that we've had for a number of years. And Alex has worked on it quite a lot over those last couple of years to get the reliability there. And we kind of just plug it in and leave it going. And Alex hasn't been here a lot of the time, and it's been perfectly fine.
That's what you want from a GBC module.
Oh, absolutely. They're the best. Just plug it in, leave it, and don't worry. So we're now into a section where we've got a few modules by a builder called Morgan Brooks, who's on our left there. So this double or quadruple ramp is actually pneumatic. So Morgan's got a pneumatic pump at the back here, and that's feeding out with the various tubes to run the pneumatic lifts and go backwards and forwards. So it's good to see that it's running nice and smooth for you, Morgan. So well done.
Thank you.
I know you've had some challenges over the course of today, just keeping it going. So it's nice to see that it's got there. So we've got another ExoForce wheel lift. In the back to that, just shout out, this is something from a 12-year-old builder who has made this sort of diamond or tetrahedron shaped build, and he was really wanting to find a way to motorize it. So like any good GBCer, grabbed a whole bunch of bits and had something else for us to display. And then we're into from the ExoForce lift, we're into a little vertical sweeper module using the angled lift arms. So this one's always nice and clean. I think that was from Brick Fair, Virginia in the last couple of years. I've got to build one of those myself. They're really nice. That feeds into Steve Putz's ball flume. So this is a little different to a lot of the modules we have here. So Steve's built the ball flume, and then he's controlling its speed and output with an NXT brain, so that he's got consistent flow and is aiming for that 1 ball per second flow at all times. All right, rolling into the final piece. Is it going to work for us, Arcturus? Oh!
It was working until you guys got to that bridge.
So close.
So close. So this, when it is working, this is a high-speed flipper that is basically rotating and flipping balls vertically up the slope, and then we've got a bunch of nets and the dots bracelets acting as the shock absorber to catch those balls and bring them back down. So when it runs, it's amazing, but as you can see, it's had a few problems, and we were hoping to have it running right now, but
It's a law of cameras.
it is the way life is. And then our final lift, a simple bar conveyor lift, is feeding it back into the bulldozer. So yeah, it's a good mix of stuff that we have on show today, and we're glad to be here as ever. Hopefully, when people come by, we'll have a few more of the more problematic ones fixed and running.
But no, it's always great to see all the effort you guys put in. And what is the story behind the Daleks around the edge?
So that is our theme coordinator, Rick. He has some kind of Dalek obsession. So yeah, he seems to have built thousands of them, and I've been giving them away to people at random throughout the day with an aim to give him a lot less than he had at the start of the session. So yeah, people who come and interact with us and ask questions and things like that, they'll get Daleks to take away. We're feeding them candy. We've got a ball return going on. We're trying to make this entertaining and interactive as possible, and drag more and more people into the GBC community.
Absolutely. So what was the overall builder count in modules this year?
63 modules and 16 builders, about 74 linear feet, and so we're very pleased with those numbers. It's the biggest we've had yet here, and hopefully next year we're already starting to think, how can we go bigger?
Perfect. Can't wait to see more next year. Thank you so much, as always, for taking us through the GBC here. Always appreciate it.
Yeah, you're most welcome. It's always great to see you guys here, and we love to share what we've brought to show.